Well, happy Friday. Welcome to ATI Pro Media. We're powered by Advanced Trading. Got a pretty good show. Markets pulling back ever so slightly, mostly on the news. We're seeing Argentina is going to lower their export tax, right? Is that going to make up for their reduced crop? And also, looking at South America as a whole, is Argentina's lower crop? Can Brazil more than make up for it when we're looking at soybean production? Who knows? Other thing, what's right around the corner is crop insurance. That Fed pricing is just a week away. So I love looking at those numbers. Other than that, Brady's going to talk cattle on feed. We got that report out today. And then, as always, pop us a question. Anything you want to hear, we want to talk about. With that, Brady, bring them in. Happy Friday. Quote us up on the markets, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. All right. Looking at your board, March corn's down 4 1/4, 485 3/4. March beans down 10 cents at 1055 1/2. Soy oil is a little firmer, up 15 points. Soy meal is down 870. Looking over at Chicago wheat, March Chicago wheat's down 10 cents. Looking over at KC wheat's down 12.5 points, 558 1/4 on March KC wheat. Feeders are up a buck. Fats are up a buck, $1, $1.10, $1.50 on your fat board, pushing to new record highs on your front month feeders and live cattle. So that is definitely a winning corn board there. Lean hogs a little leaker. Looking over at crude market, up 14 points. Diesel up 2 cents. Nat gas down 11 cents. Over in your macro markets, your equities, the Dow is down 150 points, the S&P up $1, and the NASDAQ up 10 points there, Connor Bean. So
I gotta say, the Huck Ranch video, it makes me wish for warmer weather. We haven't had snow for 2 weeks, and yesterday my wife got stuck in our driveway. So I'm ready for that snow to go away. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that was, I think, a fall time type of video. So it's not like it was overly warm, but yeah, the sun warmth there definitely looks a little warmer than it feels right now here in January. So
heck yeah,
get out there and shovel that drive, Connor B. Go shovel this.
Man, I thought I got after it, but guess what? I should have made it about 2 foot wider on each side, I guess. Lesson learned. Lesson learned. It's the first big snow we've got since we moved in that house, so I'll be better next time, I'm sure. So
yeah, well, we're millennials. We just cut a path to where we need to go. We don't do the whole drive. We just do a walking path to where we go.
There you go. All right. Well, hey, cattle on feed report out today, right? We'll see that out this afternoon. I'm sure you'll update us on the numbers. I know you've talked about it, but what are we looking for there?
Yep. I'll throw a little graphic up. Here's the Ernerberry estimates of what we got, what the trade is looking for. 99.7 is the average guess for the on-feed number. Placements, a big range in placements there. Marketings, typically we know where those are at, but the average on the placement side is 101.1, but we got some higher, much higher, up 6.8% on the highest guess, and some even a little bit lighter. We'll see what's actually placed there and where that comes in. That'll probably be the big differentiation of where we're at with total on feed number. The steer and heifer mix, though, Connor, this is one of those quarterly reports where we get a snapshot of how many steers are on feed, how many heifers are on feed. That'll be interesting to see. Caveat, though, Mexican imported feeder cattle, a lot of those cattle were spayed heifers that are coming up here. Did that skew any of that data? I don't know. I don't know if I'm smart enough to understand that, but something to keep an eye on there. So
definitely.
Next Friday, we also got the big inventory report. So back-to-back Fridays here with big data, and your cattle markets are definitely moving. But we'll get a snapshot of the beef cow herd size and if we're keeping replacements back next Friday.
Gotcha. Good deal. Well, hey, other thing we had released, we saw export sales yesterday, and I'd say overall they didn't really disappoint, did they? Especially on corn, we saw them at the top end of the range. Soybeans, we could have wished for a little bit better, and wheat, it could always be a little bit higher, but generally in line. Corn's still at that top end of the range, isn't it, Brady?
Yeah, I think that corn and bean number really, those are firm, those are solid, but that wheat number a little disappointing. The thing I look at on this graphic from ATI Research, that OS category and OS last year, OSLY acronyms there, but outstanding sales is what OS stands for, and the corn outstanding sales book well above last year's. That's positive. That's good. We have a nice book of business on the corn side of things. Beans and wheat, Not much there. Would like to see that book more comparable to last year on the outstanding sales side of things. And then looking down there at sorghum category, 3.4 million bushels of outstanding sales versus 68 million bushels a year ago. That's got to be the dog out here. Got to be the dog.
Wow.
I got to play the sad trombone on the sorghum. Too many sad trombones today, though.
That is interesting. Well, that exports, right? When I look at this corn market, exports definitely kind of started the rally, right? USDA helped it along, right? When we dropped that carry out, but we need exports to continue. We need stuff to go to Mexico. It'll be one that we're continuing to watch, but it's good to see, right? We saw inspections, right? It came out stuff actually leaving the Gulf, leaving the U.S. It was fantastic. So good to see. We'll take it all day long. So speaking of exports, right? I'd say the main headline is going to be that Argentina lowers their export tax, right? We saw overnight soybeans definitely reacted negatively to that, right? When I look at March soybeans, the low was 1046. We're still down on the day, but we're not quite near those lows with March soybeans at 1058. But Argentina will temporarily lower taxes on its grain exports, the government said on Thursday, citing the improving health of the nation's economy. So taxes on soy exports will fall to 26% from 33%. And then oilseed derivatives will fall to 24% from 31%. And wheat and corn as well will go to 9.5% versus 12%. So seeing that cut back. If you remember last year, right, they Milei, I apologize if I didn't pronounce his name right. They elected a president that was generally considered conservative. He was ready to make some sweeping changes, and I think he's something like this. It's right in line with him. So we will see.
He was kind of the spurred on the whole Doge movement, Department of Government Efficiency. Remember, he came in with that chainsaw when he was elected, and he was talking about flashing everything, all the government agencies' employment. So I don't know if he's the ringleader for the whole Doge movement out there. Definitely a market mover overnight, though. And beans, good to see them off the lows here. Headlines like that, you look at this market rally and what we've gained in this market, and a pullback and a sell-off, not out of the question. Even bull markets, they aren't they don't go up in a straight line every day. You have pullbacks, and some of them call them healthy pullbacks. I don't know if this is a healthy pullback or not, Connor, but pay attention to it. A healthy pullback can turn into a very unhealthy sell-off quickly too.
Yeah, good point. And that's worth noting is that when we did the live show yesterday, we were up, but we had a strong close. We're still above where we started yesterday, even with a lower market here Friday. So it's been a good week. We've seen some good prices, right? Are you rewarding them, right? As with this rally, are we getting that fear of missing out type mentality? I don't think you should, right? It's one of those when we get into that mindset, man, when emotions take over in grain marketing, it feels like we've already lost. But time will tell. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go to the next headline and the next headline. And so we got the USDA report. We've got the new carryout number. So what's next, right? It's going to be if and when are tariffs coming? Are they not coming? What percentage, right? Are we going to see a deal worked out? We're going to start talking a lot about south of the safrinha corn crop, let alone Brazil soybean production, right? It's always we're always going to be looking forward. And I think with that, I'm looking forward. Crop insurance is right around the corner, Brady.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up. So that starts February 1st. We'll start setting that pre-plant insurance for corn and beans. Is that right?
Yep. Corn, soybeans. And then here from Karen Braun, we just had the Feb average, going back to 2011. And then she did the deviation from the prior year. So holy crap, 24, 21%, 16% drop. That's about as bad as it could get. It'd be much better to see, my gosh, in 2011, Brady, we saw a 51% increase in the price. But 466 was the average last year. Checking in on D's corn right now, 462.
Interesting. That's very interesting that we're right in lines with that similar number. I'd love to, and we need to go build that and get that graphic that has the harvest prices on there and the change between the
Yes.
pre-plant price and the harvest price. And let's look back at the last 10, 15 years and see how often that pre-plant price was above that harvest price and how much above or how much did it sell off between pre-plant and harvest? Was it, if you have 75% coverage, did that sell off 25%, more than 25%? Let's dig into some of those numbers and talk about that going forward. Good
Yep.
stuff.
Absolutely. I love talking, right? I don't sell crop insurance, but I love talking about it. It's great. And it's one of those that needs to fit nicely in our marketing plan. But if that's our only marketing plan, right, it's probably not going to work for us, especially in Central Illinois, Brady. But
Right.
I'm sure we'll have a few premiums looking at crop insurance and we'll be updating that. So always good to see.
Yep, it's that time of year. Good stuff. Cool.
So
Well, what do we got next here?
you want to do, it's Friday. Should we do a tweet of the week? I think I got a good one.
You got, all right, let's do it. Let's do tweet of the week.
Okay, this one comes from CRNA Farmer, and I think the thread is what's best as much as anything. But what's
Okay.
the longest you've heard of someone storing grain? I heard a retired guy selling 20-year-old wheat a couple years ago. Blew my mind. So it's always fun, right? When we see those big prices. I remember working at the elevator, and some guys they'd have grain on storage for a couple years. Or I'm not in big wheat country, so you don't see 20 years is unbelievable, but it's nothing for corn. Make room. You got to make room for the next crop and keep that old crop in the bin, right?
Yeah, that's interesting. We like to get those new crop bushels, and that sometimes if you have a lot of equity and maybe you don't need the cash or you don't want to pay taxes on it and make that sale, you just keep kicking that can down the road, and yeah, 1 year can turn into two pretty quick, and two can turn into five, and 5 to 10, I guess sometimes. But those stories are always get a kick out of them for sure.
Right.
I look back. I remember when wheat was 10, $12. And a guy was talking to me about he had some 2019 wheat in the bin, and he was at, is it time to sell? And I just go back to it. Well, you watched it go from 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12. Well, you've held it this long. Why sell now? It's going? I heard on the YouTube and the TV the other day that it was going to $40 wheat, Connor B. So
I love it. I don't think store and ignore, right, year in, year out. Is it a good marketing plan? I think we could do better, but I appreciate the conviction, right? If you're going to store and ignore it to the best you can, right?
I ignored it so much I forgot it was there.
There was one comment was a guy, I think it was along the same lines. Wheat hit $12, and so he had to clear some ash trees so he could get to the bin. And the guy's comment was, "Ash trees grow very, very slowly."
Oh, that's something. That's a good tweet of the week, Connor B. That's a good one to have, especially this time of year. And store and ignore, I guess, when you're looking at $5 May futures, it sure feels like you've won something there. But you had pretty good, much better basis in the fall. You've wrapped up maybe some storage interest, the cost of money, the cost of opportunity. If you were paying interest, that's a direct cost you can put to that bottom line. And if you weren't earning interest on that cash, what have you gained since then? But nonetheless, good to see that market rally and be where we're at today. And like you asked, are you doing anything about it? When I think of these things, Connor, I go back to the we're very much in an environment where it's a Mark Twain quote. It's a good one. It's not what you know that gets you in trouble. It's what you think you know that just isn't so.
Yeah.
That's what gets you in trouble in this environment.
Well said. Well said. Yeah. No story. Yeah. When we see May, July hit $5, what did March topped out at? Did we see 594, 595 yesterday? It's good to see, but is it good business sense just to store and ignore, right? I think staying patient is completely okay, but let's just make sure we've got our risks defined, and we can still keep those emotions in check. That's what I always try and preach, and what I always try to show to customers. So,
yep. Well, the Bulls have definitely been winning lately,
yeah.
but we're still below on that March contract, below levels that we saw last May, June timeframe. I think we peaked out on that March contract at 508. And to check here, yesterday we got to 494.5. So still below that $5 level. We're getting back to where we were 10 months ago. So I'm gonna talk premium, and let's go into comments here a little bit. Yesterday we had Brian Basting on. We talked about South America weather, Argentina, Brazil. Talked about a number of things going on down there, and also some just general marketing philosophy and what guys should be looking for. Had some specific recs for our premium subscribers and customers in that video. It's always good to get Brian on. He brings a nice, different perspective of things to be looking at and looking for. If you want that episode, come sign up for Pro Media Premium Content. We'd love to have you.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, let's do some questions. We'll let everyone have a good weekend.
Okay.
What we got? Any thoughts on yesterday's Brooke Rollins hearing? What do you think?
Out the gate with the hammer here. You take that one, Connor. I don't want to touch that one. That one's all yours.
Yeah, I didn't watch. I full disclosure, I didn't watch it. I did see snippets where the most interest, the one that caught my eye was if we see some type of trade war that impacts farmer, we'll see some type of, basically saying she'll take care of farmers. If we see it, we'll see some types of payments, right? Was that Brooke?
Yeah, I think it was very in getting disaster relief out the door, some of that type of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, some of those, and approving that the Farm Act stuff that got passed late, getting that thing pushed out too.
And Brooke was kind of, she worked before this. I don't, and stop me if I'm wrong, Brady, because I'm shooting off the cuff here, but she was not, definitely not in favor.
I don't. You may be right, but I
no. And she was kind of anti-biodiesel, was on the opposite end of that. Where I think in this meeting she did say she'll look at all types of fuel sources. So I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. More questions than answers going forward. A lot of uncertainty, a lot of moving pieces. Watch out for the rug getting yanked out from under you unexpectedly at any point in time in this market and in this environment. You never know.
You don't. So, okay. Well, I think with that, unless you got any other comments, we'll wrap it up. Make sure to pay attention. Cattle on feed this afternoon. I hope everyone has a good week, and it's going to warm up here, right? Hopefully we can get that snow gone. I don't want to dig out the car again. It'd be nice to get a little bit warmer weather, right? I bought a house with a lot of charm, meaning it's an older house, right?
A lot of charm.
And so it's great. It's great until you see that heating bill is always fun, right? Especially when we see these 0-degree temperatures. So with that, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Everyone have a great weekend. We'll see everyone Monday.
See ya.